Human, so very human. I now know from all the research and the interactions that I have had with the governments, with the courts, with the citizens of this world, with the police, with constables, with sheriffs, as well as the whole heap of education that goes into the knowledge of what I'm about to reveal to you. Two distinctive species and now have revealed themselves to me. In plain sight, but of course hidden because I was unable to see it, which means I was blind, uneducated. Until I spoke to David Wayne Miller, as well as one of his own people, whose name was also David, that relayed the information to me just a few weeks ago. He said, "We've always known that there are two distinctive species on this planet. One is man and the other one is human. The first question that you must ask yourself in order to self-qualify what I'm saying to you is that why would you have two different words to describe one thing? You know this is a pen, and I'm actually speaking about this pen itself. This pen you're looking at. Why would it be given two different names? Why would you have two different names for the same object? Could be because you are speaking a different language. No, we're still speaking in the realm of English, which is also the language of the conventional federal courts and the federal government. They still use English. That is the language. That's why all airplane pilots have to learn English and not French, as they try to take over the federal governments. But that itself is an example of what I'm talking about to disqualify anybody thinking it's a different language. I'm going to ask you again, why would you have two different words for this one object that you're looking at, unless they have two distinctive meanings? You're looking at me, a man. I'm a man. Why do you have two different definitions for what I am in the dictionary? Man, kind, humankind. Why is that? Why are there two distinctive words to describe what you're looking at? What you're looking at. Why is there two distinctive words to describe one single object? That is this. When we are dealing with a man, you're dealing with the people of the world, of the earth, that are in full possession of their mental faculties, whether they're young or old. They all have a center of gravity. They are not interested in cannibalizing on their fellow mankind. And they go about the world with the truth in hand, or the fact as their guiding principle, with faith in their hearts. These are the characteristics, just some of the characteristics of men and women. Women just simply means man with a womb, which you already know from the common law language of the lands. Why would you take this characteristics is known as man and woman, part of creation, creator creates, and now create another word for it called human? Why would you do that? The reason why you would do this, because the characteristics of the species of what we call human is not the characteristics of the species we call man or woman. The species of human, as in human rights, are all part of a world that is so distinctive on their own, it carries its own definition. First of all, in the world of passe, which means the parts of the word that this word human is made up of, H-U and M-A-N. Human. Hue means the many shades of man. It means the shading of man. It's not physical color. It's not the pigments in your skin or the melatonin that is in your body. No, it's not referring to suntan. You already know that. The coloring is the coloring of the law. You see, the law of man is very simple. Do no harm to nobody else. Even though it's a negative state of condition, the characteristics of men and women are that they are full of aid and help, have their own center of gravity, and as the book says, the cup overfloweth from them. You know them when you meet them, because they're more interested in the whole truth than nothing but the truth, as it were. These people, the humans, are interested in anything but those things, having faith and center of gravity. As a result, a parallel world formed on the back of what I now have come to call, which I make no claims of, called subspecies. And the reason why that is, even though psychiatrists would be happy to use that when dealing with psychopaths and narcissists in their own literature, the reason why I don't want to use it as a claim is because it lets them off the hook, because subspecies, sub means no, okay, as in subhuman. Subhuman means no human. Subman means no man. When something is a SU, it means no. You can look it up in Latin. And I don't want to let them off the hook for what they are. These humans, ladies and gentlemen, are the ones that cause so much problems to this world. Human, the many shadings as it were, are interested in the multitude of things, personas that they can take on. Personas like singers, actors, being tyrannical, telling lies, everything except those things which are characteristic of human. Give me 1 second, please. Every time I make these types of broadcasts with a lot of evidence, what happens, I get interference, and there may be interference as we speak. Okay? But I'm going to have to continue ignoring it just in case, that you guys are receiving this. But my instruments here tells me that the signal is being lost on multiple amounts of time. This normally happens when I'm about to reveal incredible pieces of information that is life-changing to people around the world. You see, when you have men and women that don't have central gravity, don't have faith, and they lack all these things, you have what is known as a human. And laws were created to govern this human. The Black's Law Dictionary from the 18th century quite literally says, and you've heard it 1,000 times, human quite literally means monster, and a monster shall inherit no offspring, no lands, no wealth, nothing. This also means that a multitude of language systems are full of corruption is also what they take up. That could be on the level of law, that could be on the level of corporate instruments, that could be on the level of family life, whatever it is. Whatever they are given, they will quite literally accept it, like coronavirus, COVID-19, which are two different things together. They're totally different, corona and COVID. The human, as it is defined, is psychological types that have a leaning towards taking on different characteristics from that of a man. And the human would quite literally walk themselves into being a constable and then vacate their position or abdicate their position to become a police officer. They would abdicate their ability to become men and women and take up a crown and call it a principality. When they are offered the truth or a fact, they would take it up and cause a colouring of that fact or that truth. In other words, when you have a beautiful constitution, all animals are equal, you will have a secondary constitution written by the colouring of these humans, the pig types, to say some animals are more equal and therefore pigs are more equal than you. This is the system that George Orwell is revealing to you. He's saying to you, beware of the species that is so very human, lack the characteristics of man. The narrative of the animal farm, as well as so many of these anthropological morphisms are describing, is the different characters that these men that do not have the characteristics of men, they take up and become, to the point where they are even unhappy with their own shade, and they feel ashamed of their shade because they've been told by their fellow humans that your shade of color is something to be shameful and it is economically disadvantaging you, and make that world come true as much as they can. They would claim that they owe you something or you owe them something under the coloring of the law, what they call presumption and assumption. They always go around presuming and assuming. And they always presume and assume that you will do the same thing. We have a law called coloring of the law. That is to take something that we already know exists, tried and tested, is waterproof, and they color it. Meaning they want to put holes into it and live off you constantly trying to plug those holes. They are fond of leakage. In other words, like the pharmaceutical industry, they will do their best for your body to leak blood, toxins, stupidity, all manner of things, so they can constantly patch it up with plaster while you constantly leak. You understand what I'm saying? They will take something as a simple as like make a claim and say to you, well, we're claiming that this is ours, like say your car, and then ask you to prove that it's not yours. You understand what I'm saying? It's called an impossible situation. They will try to engineer an impossible position for you to be in and then get you to defend yourself in that impossible situation, called an accusation. The Shakespearean experience of the principalities, of the admiralty courts, of the governments, UK, Britain, England, whether that is in the US, the Senate, the judiciary, the executive, whether that'll be in commas, whether that's McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, or use coloring of the law to hide behind. Human, so very human, is what they are talking to and wish to remain as. Because when you break something, you can spend a lot of money trying to fix it. And since they broke it, they don't want to fix it. They want you to pay for fixing it under the color of the law. That is how bad these people work under. They will even try to recruit more people under the coloring of the law, giving them human rights, sexual rights, gay rights, homosexual rights, all this when men and women don't ask it. Simply saying, if I'm homosexual, that's my business, and I'm not going to take up your coloring of the law to ask you permission or not. In other words, get on your bike and F off. We are not going to give up our rights because we don't need to claim it. We control all of what we do. You understand where I'm going with this? They would even go and campaign day and night on TV so you can give up your ability to make your own votes and call it a democratic representative. You're essentially going to give up your vote, your ability to elect, to usually an idiot, a stupid man that is not shy about being stupid and talking stupid things. Human beings will easily give up their vote. Do you understand where I'm saying what I'm saying? The level of recruitment to recruit humans as opposed to mankind is vast, because corruption breeds corruption. In order to create, you have to do something very constructive. It'll take you decades to construct, but for somebody to smash it and get you to pay for fixing it is what they're after. They will try to program young children, babies, that you have given up and color their sexuality. They will say you may not be a girl. You may feel like a boy. And to the horror of all of these things, just as children will pick up whatever you give them, whatever identity you give them, whether you give them an identity of stupidity or cleverness or genius, they'll pick it up. If you cause enough doubt, they'll try to choose one that suits them, that blends in with the other humans. They will even now, at age of 14, convince your parents and the schools you should have a sex change at the age of 14, even younger. Turn you, by surgery, into a girl or a girl into a boy. All is done under the coloring of the law, because men find it hard to become men and be men, so they choose to become human. Women that choose to be difficult, if they find being a woman is difficult, they may choose to opt out for an easier option that requires no responsibility and claim human rights. This human on this planet, the level of deprivation that they will go to is quite extraordinary. The level of mutations that take place physically through surgery and things is all done by this human. You know, and I know, in 2000, when the Twin Towers fell, they tried to convert as many men and women that knew the facts into human so they can color why they're going to the war, who did it, blame phantoms. Human beings believe in phantoms. Men do not. A puff of smoke is what a phantom is, an eddy. If an eddy has power over a man, then he becomes a woman. That's right, he becomes a human. Anything but man. If a shadow puppet frightens a man, he's no longer a man. He's human, subject to the shadowing of coloring of the law, the many colors of sexuality, the many colors of man. No, ladies and gentlemen, in this corona period, you are birthed in as men and women, with the central gravity, with the faith that you was born with by the Creator's creation. Have you ever wondered why they have two different words, Creator and God, or gods, which can easily be turned into a plural? Because they are two different distinctive designations. Creator creates, gods corrupt. They play stupid human games. And just like in those books, whether that's the Bible or the Jewish one or the Hindu one or the Muslim one, they will claim, oh, these gods, this God is so very human. It does human-like things, starts wars, kills animals, asks for sacrifices, even asks for you to sacrifice a baby boy's end of its penis to it. The whole of the Middle East does that. And right up to the 80s, the American doctors used to do that to the baby boys until they put a stop to it, until men put a stop to it. These types of mutilations are the conduct of humans that would actually believe the Creator that creates now needs to be mutilated in order to say thank you for this thing. Who would? What kind of a God? What kind of a deity are you worshipping, you following? What kind of a government are you following? What kind of a judiciary are you following? What kind of a senator, governor, sheriff, politician, MP are you following? What kind of a thing that creates perfection and then asks you to mutilate that perfection in the form of a circumcision as an offering to it? Only gods do. God does that because it's human. And if you go onto my website, you'll see they have bank accounts. I want to thank everybody for bringing this information to me. I want to thank David to making it so very clear. I'm going to just analyze this word for you, okay, human. I'm going to pause and just increase the size of it so you can see it. Humankind. Kind means alike, okay? They agree upon certain things, that there is coloring of the law, that nothing is a fact, that it's all just make-believe. No. Human beings considered collectively as a neutral alternative to mankind. The origin of mankind. Listen to the words. It's in brackets as well. Human beings considered collectively. Collectively, human beings. Coloring of the law. Coloring of the man. It even says in some of these holy books that I created many shades of man. He's playing Shakespearean poetry with you. Used as a neutral alternative to mankind. In other words, if you don't have a central gravity, sexuality, pen to paper, your own thoughts, your own faith, a union with your Creator and creation, You are neutralized. You claim no mankind qualities, and you automatically work your way into the realm of humankind, the many colors, the many psychological types. I was only doing my job. What, to rape, pillage? How many soldiers go to war on the back of a belief, and only to find that belief has been shattered when they get home and make no apologies? I was only doing my job. You vacated, you abdicated your position as a man or a woman. That's like you wanting to become a cartoon in a cartoon rather than walk on the earth, see, taste. That's what the consequences are when you don't pick up your pen, when you don't have faith, when you allow yourself to be demoralized or disillusioned. Never, never allow them to do it. People can be very susceptible to it. And I have told you, your center of gravity from which you was born with will see you through, and so will your fate. Being passive will only move you into the realm of being human. Being what you are, conducting yourself, will remove you from the realm of being human. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, why would you have two different words for me? Why? Because the way that I conduct myself will reveal to you who I am, subject to the color of the law, or I know the facts. I know what I am and who I am. Know thyself. If I am subject to somebody saying to me, Mark, you may not be a whole man. You might have a lot of hormones in you that is a woman. You might think about having some surgery, grow some boobs. Well, I have man boobs because I'm overweight, and that's what I have to say about that. It is easy for me to end it on a comical note. You remember there are many cartoons on this planet made to show you monsters, like Monsters, Inc., something that me and Alex were speaking about and the other judges speak about. All telling you the monster is human under their own definitions of what that word is. I want you, as my indirect students, look up that Black's Law Dictionary. Black means no rights. Black means no law. If you say you're a black man or a white man, that means you're subject to the coloring of the law. In other words, anybody can color you in whatever color that they want and give you whatever law that they choose. That's why they work so very hard to make you into a white man, black man. Look it up, Black's Law Dictionary. That in itself means that there is no law. But in doing so, look for that word human. It's in the 18th century one. I don't want to pick it up. I can easily do it for you. But you have to do the work. Because if you rely on me to keep feeding you these things, you become dependent upon me. And then you become human and not man. Whether that's in the Black's Law Dictionary or Bulletin or whatever it is, find it. Find it. It should be online. I don't think it's in Black's Law Dictionary. I think it's in one of the other dictionaries. Find that definition, human, copy it, because it's online, or type it out, and paste it into the description box, albeit in the comments box, I should say, so people can see that the men and the people, the humans with their human dictionary, with their human admiralty courts, are conducting the affairs of monsters. You have to be a monster in order to believe that the commies are coming. You have to be a monster to kill Americans. You have to be a monster to hate Vietnams. You have to be a monster to think a man with a different color, pigment, is less than what you are. You have to be a monster to vote to go to a war on the back of politicians whose character is always being questioned, whether that's in the realm of pedophiling, criminality, cocaine abuse, drug abuse, criminality after criminality. You still take their word. You would have to be a monster. You can't be anything less. You have to be a monster to launch weapons at your fellow man. Whereas the average Texan will pull out his armament, not weapon, pull out his armament to protect his fellow man. The monster will try to steal your armament and turn it into a weapon so he can convert you into believing that the enemy is at the gates. It's him that is the enemy. That is what Washington, D.C. does. That's what Washington, D.C. is. It's a monster. And it shall not inherit anything, because a monster cannot inherit its blood, its money, or anything else. That's what you're witnessing as this monster becomes extinct. But you cannot rely upon your fellow man to bring that about. You get on with it, because men cannot continuously do this for you. I have given you the best of what I can, verbally, through research, through all manner of solutions, which 99% of the people there don't in internet land, in YouTube land. They only frighten you and give you no solutions. And yet, my videos are still shadow banned. I know there are only a few men and women out there on this planet, about 10%. That 10% is able to control any human on this planet. Show them the best by you doing it. Visit my website. There are documents on there which they say don't exist, and they weren't made up by me. They are UN documents, documents from different libraries showing you all the things that I'm talking about. So let me know. Let me know my message has got through to you about these two distinctive species that exist on this planet. By finding that definition in that law dictionary, and I don't think it's in Black's Law Dictionary. I think it might be in Bullentime, which I'm mispronouncing. Find it, copy it, or type it out and paste it into the comments section. When you do that in your hundreds, it will make me feel like a man that I have done a job. And certainly it will empower you to realize that there is two very distinctive species, human acts of gods and man, creation itself. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I very much will be reading your comments, and I very much look forward to reading your comments. Please do watch out for scammers and fearmongers, and as well as naysayers and the haters on these channels, because they're always there trying to take away your ability to be man or woman. Until next time, bye-bye.